So I guess I'm gonna have to give, oh, it's not even 8 o'clock yet, I'm tripping. All right, but yeah, I'm gonna give it till probably 8:05 or so before I get started. Super good. So until then, man, we just gonna be in here just listening to me ramble, you know. Hope everybody slept good. I'll probably repeat what I'm about to say after 8:05 when more people get in, but I was telling my boy Mike, the first person that came in, I thought you could just log into YouTube Live and share your screen, and realized real quick last night, oh, that's not how it works. You got to have third-party software downloaded to share your screen. Like, I can use my webcam with no problem, but to share my screen and do the webcam, I had to download some stuff. So it's 1:30 in the morning last night. I'm sitting here like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to cancel this thing and tell them folks, wait till Monday so I can use this weekend to learn this stuff. But yeah, just know I lost some sleep for y'all trying to get this together. So I hope that it works out good, man. But I should have been more prepared since I sent that out Monday. I should have already tested it and figured it out. So that's my bad though. That's my bad. I will say with this news, all this news this morning, man, it's pretty ugly. This might really be a Q&A session. The only thing I see so far is a potential trade on EJ, which I took EJ off my chart like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe, but it kept calling me. It was like, hey, you've been trading me for like 7 years, man. You just gonna dip on me? I had to bring it back, man. I couldn't leave my baby. All right. Morning. Everybody that's new up in this thing, morning. If I can get 10, well, it's just 8:01, but yeah, if I get 10 people, I'm happy. I'm cool. That's like I said, I'm already nervous sitting up here live. Because like y'all don't know, when I'm recording regular, I say and so much, and I stumble over so many sentences when I'm just recording. Because I know when I go back and edit it, I can take all them ums and uhs out so I don't sound like Forrest Gump or something, sitting up here sounding dumb, stumbling all over my sentences. And so yeah, y'all don't hear all that, but I'm probably finna sound kind of dumb today because I can't edit this. I can edit it afterwards though, so the folks that watch the playback, they ain't gonna hear everything, but I might just leave it all in and keep it all the way 100 though. See your boy raw and uncut. I feel like I need chapstick. My lips is dry. Where my chapstick at? I don't know. But look, if my lips get white, I am not a crackhead. I'm just nervous. It is what it is. I appreciate you, man. I'm just keeping it real. I know we all got nerves, but hey, mine are on display right now. You feel me? At least you get to chill in the shadows. I done put my behind out there and sitting here like, oh, snap, what did I do? But yeah, man, so I thought GU was going to give us a good peak of 10 setup this morning, but that 7:30 news that hit, well, 7:30 my time, I'm not sure what time zone everybody's at, but the news that just hit 33 minutes ago, yeah, it threw the market all the way off. But I had GU marked as a peak of 10, a setup for a potential peak of 10 where we had passed this sharp point in the market right here. And it came up. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I was stupid anyway because that wasn't, I didn't even pay attention to that. I rushed down here this morning trying to figure out the rest of the software and got one of my friends on here to kind of get in here before y'all to help me. And so I wasn't paying good attention. I see the Ehlers Fisher was not on deck for that. But only other thing I see is actually on EJ. So we got two things coming up on EJ that I'm looking at. And one, if I go to H4, which I don't do this too often, but I do see the H4 looks kind of Omega-ish. Since we got, we got that consolidation between the 144 and the 50. It's overbought. We got divergence. If I do that, then this, we got the divergence on the Ehlers Fisher. So that's there. Let me clear that off. And then let me zoom in a little bit. This will be my last prominent point here on the H4. And let me zoom back out. I just zoomed in to mark that point better. And then if I go to H4 is past that last prominent point. If I zoom in, you see H4 actually just passed that. So we can look at this as an Omega on H4, which means, so normally we do Omega on H1, and then we confirm the entry on M15. Since I'm looking at it on H4 today, then I need to confirm the entry and stuff on H1. So let me go to H1. Since we got our confirmation, I go to H1. And so now I would wait on H1 to come up and grab the 50 EMA and then sell EJ off. Also on H1, we can look at this and be like, it's a killer crossover as well. So, because we do have this 50 EMA crossing over to 144. The only problem with this, in my opinion, is that it's been like 3 days. It's a pretty wide setup. The only reason that I'm, what's the word I'm looking for, willing to get in this trade at this point, not yet, wait until the H1 comes up and grabs the 50 EMA. So we still got more retracing to do. But the only reason I'm willing to get in, even though this is so wide, because this is about 3 days wide. If I put the daily, the day breakers on, the setup started over here 3 days ago. So it's been 3 full days and we're over halfway through day 4. I don't like that. That's kind of wide for me. But since H4 looks so Omega-ish, so again, if I go back to H4, that looks real Omega-ish, then I'm willing to take the risk on this one. I might go in a little, well, no, I ain't gonna go in lighter. I'll go in my regular lot size, but I'm willing to take the L on it. But it's not one that I'm super confident in. I'll just say that. And like I said, I know we got news coming up again at 9 o'clock. In 53 minutes, whatever your time is, we got more major news coming up. So that could potentially throw the market around and jack us up. So if you decide to take that EJ trade and sell that off when it hits the 50 EMA, then just be cautious that, well, for one, all right, let's say H1 comes up and grabs that 50 EMA before 9 o'clock. Like, let's just say it shoots up in the next 20 minutes or something. It just shoots up there. I'm going to go ahead and get in the trade. But if it's 9 on the dot and it's just now getting there, I'm going to give 15 minutes or so for the news to do what it's going to do, because I don't want to get in, especially if the news is spiking around. So that's the only that's the best setup potential that I see so far. Let me scan back through these some more. I don't like EU. EC is ugly. GU, I missed yesterday, and I'm gonna go over GU in a little bit to show y'all how that broke down, because I learned something. Actually, I ain't gonna say I learned something. I learned something probably a month or two ago, but I don't see it often enough, and it just happened again, and I ain't recognize it yesterday. So Yeah, I gotta give myself a bad grade. I don't know if y'all grade y'all selves, but I'm gonna knock my grade down to a good C minus yesterday for missing that. Yeah, GJ's ugly. Everything ugly. UC is ugly. Golly, AJ ugly. And gold. Well, gold was pretty until the freaking news. So when I was up at 1:30, actually I take that back. I was up till 2:30. Okay. I was up till 1:15 trying to learn this software. I went and got in bed and I started watching Netflix because I saw gold. I saw this peak during the Asian session on gold, and I anticipated it coming up. Wait, no, my bad. Sorry, it was this peak. I saw this peak right here on gold, and I knew that we had already passed that peak. So I anticipated London coming down and having the candle close past the H1. I mean, dang, boy, I'm nervous up here, can't talk. This is what I edit out. I do this in my recordings and I edit it out so you don't notice. I anticipated H1 coming down and closing past the 10 EMA. It did, but I didn't like the way the Ehlers Fisher looked when it did it. So as you see down here, yeah, the Ehlers Fisher, I mean, boy, yeah, I'm gonna have to edit some of this, boy. Y'all getting that raw. Stupid Cholly that day. It came down and the RSI came down and closed below the 50 level. But at the time it happened, the Ehlers Fisher curved down as well. It doesn't look too much like it did now that it's because, you know, some of these indicators will redraw themselves. But at the time it curved down, so it wasn't enough separation to where, like, normally I say I need the RSI to leave the Ehlers Fisher behind. This is how I say it in the document. It left it, but it didn't. It was looking back like, hey man, you trying to come with me? So I was like, nah, that's not. I didn't feel safe enough. So had I gotten that trade, I would have gotten in probably around. I would have went to M15. I had my hand on the trigger because I had gotten back up. Like I said, I was up watching Netflix because I didn't want to miss this trade. So around 1:55 or so, I came back downstairs and I almost hopped in right around here when it was under the 50 EMA. Had I done that, more than likely I would have been safe. This would have been a 30 pip drawdown, but on gold, I normally give 30 to 40 pips because gold moves ridiculous, but I go in half on my lot size when I trade gold. So I would have been safe. I would have woke up happy with, let's see, about over 100 pips. And hopefully I would have been smart enough to have gotten out before the PPI news hit. Otherwise, I would have been sitting up here extra mad at myself for losing all that or breaking even on it or whatever. But so yeah, I thought gold was going to do a solid peak of 10, but it didn't really. So gold is ugly. That's just a roundabout way of saying everything is ugly still, except, like I said, EJ is the only potential that I see. One other thing though that I'm looking at, that I'm seeing on EJ right now, that I'm like, ugh. And actually what I'm going to do, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain what happened with GU the other day real quick, because that's going to help why I'm nervous about EJ now make more sense. Let me read some comments real quick. Appreciate Craig. All right, cool. So, on GU, this was basically a really wide, let me highlight where we're looking at. We're looking in this box. On GU, we had basically a big old Omega setup. What happened, I don't know if you remember, but it was maybe 3 videos ago, I mentioned this candle pattern. It was a sell setup on something, and I wish I could remember what it was. But I mentioned this candle pattern on in saying that it was a really powerful pattern. Somebody gave me the proper term for it, a spinning top reversal pattern. So, but anytime you got like two little doji candles sitting right there next to each other like that, that's a real good indication that it's a reversal pattern. This Omega trade turned out to be not what I'm used to seeing, but it turned out basically to be head and shoulderish slash triple formation. Like you got this formation or this hit to the Omega setup. Here's the bottom hit, and then here's hit number 3. And on hit number 3, if you get that double doji pattern type thing going on, it's pretty solid. And so what happened was I was looking for this to happen. I was looking for this to get broken because in my Omega strategy, I say, hey, I need the last prominent point to be broken. This was my last prominent point. H1 came up. It broke it. I was happy. Problem was when I went to M15, the 50 EMA was already crossed over. So then I was like, crap, it looked pretty, but ain't nothing I can do with it because the 50 is already crossed over. So according to my rules, this trade is no longer good. I had to let it go. Looking back at it last night, I realized, you know what, this is the only exception. I didn't have to wait on it to cross over the last prominent point in this situation because I got spinning tops on my third hit. So that was my confirmation, which means once I go to M15, well, granted, when the spinning top happened, that was outside of my trading hours. I wasn't up yet. By the time I was up, though, we got a hit on M15 to the 50 EMA while it was under the 144. So my entry should have been here. Let me bring my line down. My entry should have been here. And then we could have caught all types of pips yesterday. Well, 64 had I held it, which I wouldn't have. So I would have got out with 60-ish pips yesterday if I'm being real. But had you been on your personal account or something like that, you could have held this and caught upwards of 100 and something pips before PPI News ransacked it this morning. So again, that third hit being a spinning top, that can be your confirmation. Going back to EJ, look what we got right here. This looks kind of spinning topish to me. And now I'm nervous because if that's a spinning top, then this thing might be about to skyrocket. And so that's why I said, let me show you GU first, so then this can make a little bit more sense of why I just realized something, got kind of nervous. So if anybody's new coming in, I was explaining on GJ that on H4 we have EJ, we have on H4 what looks like an Omega setup. And then on H1, it looks like a killer crossover setup. So I want to sell it, but I just got nervous because now it looked like, is that a spinning top? Do I really want to sell this thing? I don't know. Let's see. I'm just reading through some comments real quick, trying to make sure I'm not missing anybody. But if y'all want to ask some questions, I'm kind of done rambling now. If y'all want to shoot some questions or maybe say, hey, can you look at such and such pair on Tuesday? You know, I lost this trade. What did I do wrong? Or did I do anything wrong? We can try to break it down or something like that. Can you show which one is the first and the second hit? Yes, I'll do that real quick. Let's see. Thanks for streaming. This is I and EURJPY. California Angel Dust. Confirmation can close at 8. Sure. Okay, so yeah, we'll go over EU yesterday, and we will go over, since I'm already on the that first and second hit thing. Were you talking about on GU when you asked about which one was the first and the second hit? Are you talking about GU or are you talking about EJ? Bet. All right, so on GU, let me erase what we got going on. So this right here would have been hit number 1. This whole cluster is hit number 2, and then this spinning top served that's hit number 3. So basically you're looking at an upside down head and shoulders pattern. But head and shoulders pattern are a variation of a triple formation. So that's what I was saying. It's head and shoulders / triple formation. But on that third hit, if you get a spinning top pattern, then yeah, it's probably like that can serve as your confirmation rather than, like I said, I was waiting on it to breach that last prominent point. I didn't realize until after it was already said and done that I didn't have to do that, and I could have took that trade yesterday. So I'm still learning, still, tweaking my strategies, making them more and more effective. But it's like that doesn't happen that often. So I ain't gonna be surprised if it happens again, in another month and a half, and I forget again, and a few hours later, like, crap, should I take it? You know what I'm saying? And then as far as EU yesterday for Jackie James, that's a dope name right there. Is that a stage name? Ain't your real name, is it? Jackie James, that's a stage name right there. You're supposed to be in the Hollywood lights with that name, Jackie James. All right, let me look at EU. Let's see. Hey, that's what's up. Shout out to your parents, man. You said EU. Let me read what you said again. Yeah. All right. Yes, it sure was, and I saw that. So EU yesterday, and my boy Mike can confirm this. I don't know if he's still in here, but I sure was. I was looking at EU yesterday, and me and Mike, just quick background because I don't want nobody to be like, man, why you ain't trading with the rest of us on a daily basis? Me and Mike started learning how to trade together in 2015. We go all the way back, and so we just keep each other accountable on stuff. I hold him accountable on, his mistakes. He holds me accountable on mine. And so we kind of stay in a chat trading on a daily basis. But I told him yesterday, I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure EU is setting something up for me. And I was talking about Angel Dust. He doesn't trade the way I trade. But yeah, when I told him that, I was saying, yeah, like Angel Dust is setting up on EU. This was our peak here. So we had, peak, bam, we had center, bam, and then of course this was our pass candle, and it never came back and gave us the entry. I'm sitting here waiting on it like, come on, man, I'm waiting. It just didn't come back. So yeah, it was an Angel Dust setup in theory, but the market didn't want to give us the entry, so it never came back on M15 and retraced back to the 50 EMA. As you see, I don't even need to go to the 15-minute time frame because you see it didn't retrace down. But yeah, I was waiting on it. Thought I was going to make some good old money yesterday, but didn't happen. So yes, you were right, Jackie James. You was on point. It was Angel Dust as far as I was concerned too. So it just didn't give us what we wanted. EJ still stalling. Yeah, I bet EJ gonna stall to that 9 o'clock news, and it's probably gonna spike up. I keep saying 9 o'clock news. I keep forgetting everybody's on the same time zone. But the news that's coming up in 38 minutes, I bet EJ's probably gonna spike up at that point. And I'm sitting here trying to make a decision on whether or not I want to enter that. I think I am, because even though this is a spinning top, this wick is so far up in the air. Like normally spinning tops, if I go back to GU, the wicks are going to be similar. Like these wicks are not that far off from each other height wise, versus on EJ, this wick is just ridiculous. So there's that, and this isn't really a third. Well, I could kind of look at it and say one. Now this isn't a setup. Like I would not buy this because I might should, and this would have been the perfect buy, but I haven't identified this as a pattern that I see often. So it could be like a 1, 2, 3, and here's a third hit spinning top, and it's about to skyrocket. I could see that happening, but I'm still more. Just based on everything that's going on, it still looks more like it would be come up here and then sell it off. So again, I think I'm willing to take the risk on this one. And if I take the L, I just take the L. I haven't taken the L. Well, I hadn't really traded this week because I missed EC. I missed EuroCAD on Monday. I missed GU yesterday, like I said, but I didn't realize it until after the fact. And then the days before that, everything was just ugly. And yeah, I thought EU was going to pop off yesterday. It didn't. This has been a rough trading week for me. I haven't taken any trades. I've just been sitting here waiting and hoping. Let's see, my first question is about the daylight savings time. Chart changed by hour. Does this change the way we look for confirmation candles? Nah, not now. You got like a 2 week. So with daylight savings time, you have, I want to say it's 2 weeks. I don't think it's 3, but, and I don't remember who does it first. If it's like Europe and, that side of the world, or if it's the USA side of the world. One of them goes first and does their daylight savings time. And then the other part of the world does it 2 weeks later. That 2 week period is the only time where it's kind of like, should I be worried about this? But after everybody's back on the same time, then you good. Everything's back to normal. So it's all back to normal at that point. I was looking at the shorter candles as peak and center. So I thought past candle was at 8. Entered, but when price went up 20 pips, moved my stop. Oh, so you made that money then. Shoot, you good. I wish I would have did that. But does where I was looking at the peak center pass, does that make more sense now as how I was looking at it? Can you look at EU? I took an L today on the peak of 10 at 10 o'clock. Okay, so with that, I'm assuming you meant 10 o'clock chart. Oh, yeah, chart time. Okay, got you. So, yeah, London session. With that, the only reason that I would have avoided the peak of 10 setup on EU is, let me show you gold, because I was showing an example on gold earlier. This was a peak. I thought gold was going to be a peak of 10 setup in London, and it kind of did. But I explained, I don't know if you were on the call, on the video stream or whatever, earlier when I was talking about it, and I said why I stayed out of it. But look at this sharp point. When you have a sharp point in the market, like you want that thing blatantly sharp. EU, I see what you were looking at. I see that you probably saw this right here, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm assuming you saw this and said this was a sharp point in the market. Actually, I'm gonna say you could have done it one of two ways. You might have said maybe this was a sharp point down here, which it is, but to me, this was part of an angel dust setup. And then you had this point right here. And when I'm looking at a sharp point, I say the most prominent part, the most recent prominent point or whatever. When I do peak of 10 stuff, I kind of look at that the same way. So even though we had like this sharp point, and this was a good one, it's a blatantly obvious sharp point in the market. When it came up here, it made a semi-sharp point, but it didn't dip down far enough. Like again, if I look at gold, this one dipped down enough to where it's no mistaken this is a sharp point in the market. I can even look at this right here and say the same thing, even though this green candle showed up. But and this one, what it just did, that's sharp. This right here over here, that's sharp. This right here, this is sharp. Going back to EU, this isn't like, I would have wanted another red candle or two to come down to make this more of a sharp situation. So I'm assuming you looked at this and it went up. Let me look at the comments. You might have already told me I ain't what I was looking at. All right, cool. But I'm assuming you looked at this as a sharp point in the market. We breached that sharp point. It came down and closed past the 10 EMA in London, and you bought it, is what I'm assuming happened. Because everything else did look good, I think. Let me see. Did the RSI? Yep, RSI was right there. So I'm assuming that's what you did. That's why I avoided it. makes any sense. So I would just say make sure that your sharp point, that sharp level of resistance in this situation that you breach past is blatantly, obviously sharp. Did that help? Easy. I said easy, so country. I was like, easy. Did that help? EU Londonine. Okay, so that EU Londonine that you took was not a Londonine, but I see what you were. What, did you sell it or buy it? If you sold it, I kind of see what you was looking at. But if you bought it, then that wasn't Londonine. But I wouldn't have sold that though, either. Which one? Oh, buy. Okay. So on the Londonine, the main thing to keep in mind is it needs. Okay, let me try to. Where was the last Londonine that happened? I'm trying to think of where was the last one that happened that I can't think of it off the top of my head. When you have a Londonine trade, let me do it this way. Is this in the same? All right, so Londonine, let's say the market's in an uptrend. Comes up, it's coming up, it starts chopping and comes down, it comes up. And this right here, you're going to consider this kind of the Asian session chop. With Londonine, whatever it passes, like when it does its little the pass candle, it needs to pass everything. It needs to close above everything that just recently happened. On where my chart go? Right here, I would have, because this came up so high on EU, to me, for it to have been a true Londonine, it would have needed to have, one, been a lot more. Here's a better example, actually. I'm going to continue with this and I'll show you something else that'll hopefully make more sense. I would have wanted it to have closed all the way above this, because this is kind of included in this whole little cluster, in my opinion. Keep in mind the 9 o'clock candle. Maybe you looked at it and said, well, here, like it closed above this area. Maybe is what I'm assuming you looked at and said, all right, it closed above this candle. This is so closely related, I would have wanted it to have closed above that. Londonine is going to be a very flat situation for the most part before it happens. And because you had this big old peak before it flattened out, I wouldn't have been looking for Londonine. I would have been looking for angel dust on that. This right here, I remember looking at and saying, this might make Londonine for a sale. Clearly it didn't happen, but I'm saying, I remember when this was setting up, I was like, it could be turning into an Omega trade, or it could be turning into a sale. This is what I say, like this would have looked, this is how Londonine starts to look when it starts off. Granted, this wasn't Londonine. I'm just saying this is more so what you want to see. You don't have anything that made a big peak down before it came back and then started consolidating. It came down, it broke all of this over here and it came down and then it just started chopping. Real, super consolidated chop. Londonine would have then been saying, okay, it would have made a false move up and then broke down and it would have closed. Pretend this red candle that came down right here, just pretend that didn't happen. Let's say this red candle actually went up, then Londonine would have been, I'm going to draw a line on my lowest candle body in this consolidation. It came up and then the 9 o'clock chart time candle closed down below all of this. That would have been Londonine. But again, because you had this big old peak that's so closely attached to this consolidation, we would have had to, that's where you want to start looking for a potential angel dust setup. So yeah, it closed it above the Asian session, but like I said, it's that peak is just too closely related to that consolidation. And so again, that's why I was pointing this Asian session out. This is more so what you want it to look like. No problem, no problem. CHF on December 6th. Oh, you taking me back to some stuff I ain't traded in a million years, huh? Chart window, CHF. Hold on, let me go and check on EJ real quick. Oh yeah, we ain't moving nowhere. Let me just run through all the stuff real fast, cause I just want to double check and make sure nothing. So nah, EU still ugly. EJ still potential. All right, so EuroCAD just did something a little funky. Let me see. Hold up, wait a minute. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3 in the bands on H4. Is this crossed over? Dang it. All right, never mind. I bet EuroCAD's gonna turn into a sale on like Monday or Tuesday. Because I just took a trade like this. I think it might have been if it wasn't last week, it was the week before last, and I made a video on it. It was one of the reversal trade videos I made. So it wasn't the last reversal trade, because that one I was like, I missed it. So it's the one before that where I actually did catch pips. But in that video we had, let me go back to my main chart. In that video we had H4 in the bands, and it's overbought, it's divergent. Cool. When you see that, you need to start looking at H1, and you need to go to the reassurance template, and you want to wait on the green line to cross over the blue line. The 33 SMA, you want it to cross over the 60 SMA. That hadn't happened yet. If it had, I'd have been happy and been like, oh snap, we got something, we can sell it. But yeah, that ain't happened yet, so never mind. So as of right now, EC, yeah, it's still a no-go. So let me just keep it pushing. Dang it. GU still has some bull crap. I'm pretty sure it's gonna go up for the day based off of this Omega setup. There's no smart entry for me in my style to take. Somebody else could have been on this wick, and I wish I had some form of knowledge to have known, like, man, getting in down here on the buy would have been dope. It would have been a hunch trade. I'm done taking hunch trades. So, but that would have been one that would have worked out. And because when it happened, I'm like, I saw it. It's just I'm trying to be smart, And again, yeah, I'd have been happy now. I'm like, I got it right. But look, at the end of the day, that would have been a gamble. So I ain't in the business of gambling. I'm in the business of taking the most probable trades. Trying to be smart with the money that God done blessed me with. Being responsible with it, you know what I'm saying? GJ, okay, see, this is another thing. That's why I'm like, I don't know about EJ, because EJ and GJ tend to do the same thing. And now GJ up here rising up. So that's making me think about that spinning top again. I don't know about this one, y'all. I don't know. Let me finish going through these pairs, and then I'll read some more comments. I halfway wonder if I could look at GJ now. Well, could GJ be no, because this is too ugly right here. I was about to say, could GJ be an angel dust forming? Because I could kind of say peak and center, and this could be a pass candle if it closes above this. But I don't know that I've ever seen an angel dust trade come in contact with the 144 EMA. I'm not going to touch that. That's one I'm going to have to observe and put it in my notes if it works out. I don't think that's going to really be an angel dust trade, though. It looks like it could be, And this might be a teachable moment for me, but like I said, I'm not going, yeah, I'm going to leave that alone. But I'm going to keep my eye on it though. But let me go back to LC, CHF, JPY real quick. Let me run through these pairs again real super fast. Everything's still ugly, except for still potential on EJ, I mean. All right, we got 21 minutes left till 9, so let me try to knock these questions out. All right, CHF, what we got, where we at? Hold on, did I miss something? All right, but yeah, December 6th. Let me put my day breakers on so I make sure I'm looking at the right thing. 10 o'clock chart time. All right, so December 6th, 10 o'clock. That's about right here. Looked like an Omega trade. Took a loss. Okay, this is where it's important to, I would say two things. So for one, I see why I would have took this 6 months ago. I see what you're looking at. I don't blame you. Learn to get ridiculously selective with your trades. Here's why I would have not messed with this. The same thing I was talking about when I was saying, and I'm sorry, I'm not paying all the way attention to some of these names. I couldn't have, but whoever asked me about the Picatin setup, was that Jackie James? Whoever asked me about the Picatin setup, and I was talking about making sure your peaks or that the sharp point that you pass is blatantly obvious. You want it the same way on the last prominent point when you're looking at an Omega setup. Going back to GU, how I saw this right here as my last prominent point, and this is what I marked, was the top of this little situation. Notice that it's by itself. It's got separation. Like there's nothing right on the side of this candle. There's nothing right on the side of this. It's got its own little space in the market where it just came up and went back down. So it's a prominent point. Like it's a V, a upside down V, where I can do this. Okay, if I go back to CHF, JPY, I can't really do that too good right here. Had this red candle right here not came down, I'd have been like, okay. But this red candle right here jacked it up to where I'm just going out on a limb. I'm gonna assume you said this right here was the last prominent point. Right here. This red candle jacked that up for me to say that's not a prominent point. This red, this green is too close to the proximity of the bottom of this. So that's not really prominent to me. This right here is more so prominent because it's nothing right to the left or right to the right. I mean, yeah, we got a wick right here, but as far as candle bodies, it's still kind of off on its own doing its thing. So had we came up in New York and then say like this red candle right here, say it would have came down and breached that line and breached this, then I would have been like, okay, Omega. But again, just be real selective with what your last prominent points look like. If it's not blatantly obvious, if you got to look at that thing and be like, just leave it alone. I would just say, just don't even mess with it. But I see what I see what you've looked at though. I had to learn to get real selective with that. Let's see here. Could you please check UJ? UJ, where are you? I feel like UJ is ugly. What you got on it? What you seeing, Moss? And we can try to talk about, like, you know what I'm saying? If you see a formation, yeah, just let me know what you think you see on it and we can discuss it. But just first look though, nah, I don't like it. EA. We'll come back to UJ. I'm gonna just I see EA. Hold on, GU is gonna go up because Ehlers fish is below 50. But yeah, shoot, yeah. I mean, but yeah, again, I do feel like GU is gonna go up. I agree. I just don't have, based on my strategies. Like I said, I could have hunch traded it. I wanted to hunch trade it, but it would have been a gamble because based on my rules, I just didn't have a solid entry based on my set in stone rules. But just looking at it and going off a hunch, I'm like, yeah, that's gonna go up. Like even though it shot down, my instincts would have been to buy it. So I feel what you're saying. Jackie with FTMO. All right, let me look at that. No, I hate that, man. Like FTMO, TFT, the funded trader, but yeah, TFT and my Forex funds, they definitely, yeah. What were we looking at just then? CHF, was that it? All right, yeah, let me check that out because I believe you. Shoot, because these folks, man, I wish all the charts were just the same. But with that said, I do recommend. Look, I feel you. I feel you now. Yep, that's some bull. Dang, that's messed up. I can't even say nothing. I feel what you're saying. I would recommend. I hate that happened to you. Use multiple charts. Look at just get a demo account or two with some other brokers just to kind of have some extra comparisons. That would be the only thing I could recommend in this situation. But looking at FTMO's chart only, and if that was all you was looking at, I 100% see why you took that trade. And I would have took that L too, for sure. I don't trade CHF, JP. Well, you know what? Hold up. Wait a minute. Well, did you take that in the New York session? So here's what I'm seeing. If you would have, so this right here, when it first grabbed, wait, is that the right area? Before I go up here yapping at the mouth. Yeah. So here's what I probably would have done if I was still trading it. When it came up and grabbed the 50 EMA the first time, I'm not getting in because I'm still in the bed sleep. This is outside of my trading hours. 6 a.m. probably hit somewhere up in here. So when it came back up at 7 a.m., if you got in here, okay, I feel what you're saying. Yeah, I can see that. I see that still. Nah, yeah, I see that. I can definitely see how you took that L. CHF, okay. The reason I don't trade some of these pairs anymore is because, I don't know, I'm not a believer of, when people be like, strategy should work for everything. No, the freak they don't. Not in my case anyway. You will not catch me trading US 30, NAS, Bitcoin. These strategies are trash for those pairs. Yeah, it'll work out every now and then, but like CHF JPY, I stopped trading it because for whatever reason, it just don't. It doesn't work out with it works out, but the setups are too few and far between. And then when setups do happen, you end up with crap like this, which just happened to Jackie James. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be saying Jackie James all the time. That's a dope name. Tell your parents what's up. For me. But yeah, some of these pairs like CHF, JPY, UJ. Basically, if you don't see it on my this chart, so if I knock CHF, JPY off, I knock UJ. Wait, did I answer the UJ question before I go? Where'd it go? UJ. Where was the UJ question? Oh, here we go. Oh, Moss, you never updated me on what you were looking at on UJ, but just in general, like I said, I don't see anything on it though. But knocking that off. So and this right here, this AUD, NZD, I don't trade that. This is just I have to have a pair pulled up for my trade copier, and this is my master account. And so I just have to have a pair pulled up to pull my trade copier onto. So I don't trade this. That's just for my trade copier to work. So this, from gold all the way to the left, those are the 8 pairs that I look at. Those are the pairs that tend to show me more setups than the others. That, like, just for months and months and months, and some of the strategies years, a couple years, but well, I'll say about a year and a half, because it wasn't but a year and a half ago when my strategies really started coming together. So yeah, I'll go back and say months and months and months of trial and error with these pairs and stuff. These are the ones that kind of survived. AUD/USD, pretty cool. But when I compared it to AJ just gave me a little bit more setups when I back tested it. But if I had to get rid of, say, 2 of these pairs, it would be AJ and probably EJ, actually. Yeah, it'd probably be like AJ and EJ I dip on, or AJ and gold. Maybe it'd be those. Because gold, it just moves so fast. It'd be getting on my nerves sometimes. Gold is scary. All right, let me run and check on EJ again real quick while I'm thinking about, oh snap, so EJ's coming into the area trying to make me make decisions and whatnot. What do I want to do? How do I want to react towards this? Let me see something. I don't draw fibs out that often, but if I draw a fib from this high to this low, are we at the C? Yes, we are. That stopped at the 61.8. That's another indication we might be looking at a sell. If I go up here and say, where's my last wick to the downside? The closest one, it would be this little tiny little wick at the bottom of this red candle here. So I could draw a little tiny little zone right there. And I want to see if that matches up with where the 50 EMA is on H1. It does. I think I'm going to sell this thing. That's just extra knowledge I got from, just learning Forex in general. That's just general Forex stuff. I don't do that stuff that often, but I don't know, guys. I might be in on this EJ. I might do that. Only other thing, because I'm trying to talk myself out of it. The only other thing I don't like about EJ is this right here. Bam. It's been down in the bands. So I'm not sure. Well, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, now it went down in the bands over here. So normally if it's going to hit the bands, either it did, this could be like that's an ugly head and shoulders, if that's a head and shoulders though. Like, it's a head and shoulders, but it's still ugly. So I could see this tanking all the way down into this zone and then making like a big reversal to the upside. But it needs to tank down here first. But I could also see this being just a butt ugly reversal here, and that's just what it is. And like I said, this even on H1, it looks killer crossover-ish, but it's too wide for my comfort level. And being that it's so wide, and then we got this little spinning top situation right here, this reversal pattern, I could see this mug going straight up. I'm so uncomfortable with that trade, man. I don't know. Any more questions while I sit here and struggle over whether or not I want to hop in this EJ setup? Heck yeah. Are prop firms worth it? Listen, I'm gonna tell you what prop firms do. Number one, don't take any challenges unless you are already profitable. Let me just put that out there. Like if you're not consistently profitable on your personal account. All right, hold on real quick. I'm sorry. My thought just got sidetracked because EJ just sprang up some more on me. But oh, never mind. 9 o'clock news. 9 o'clock news. Hands off. It's too close. Never mind. I'm gonna leave it alone. So I'm not touching EJ for right now until I see what this news does. So that'll keep me safe. But back to prop firms. So yeah, don't unless you're already profitable, don't mess with them because you don't want to spend all that money on challenges for what? It's like, let's say the typical challenge costs, let's say it's $500, $600, something like that. If you're going for like a 100K account or I don't know, but let's just say you spend $500 on a challenge. If you're not already profitable yet, why? You know what I'm saying? Like that gives you 30 days to not lose your $500 versus you could put that in a personal account, take your time, not worry about no daily loss limits, not worry about, and you got a full, you got more leverage you can work off of as well. But it's just if you're not already consistent, don't waste your time with prop firms. That's how I think a lot of people get caught up. But when you get funded, you will be so much more, like I am more careful on my prop firm accounts than I am my Henko trade account. My Henko trade account, like this EJ trade I'm looking at right now, I might be like, you know what? I ain't gonna take it on my prop firms. I'm gonna protect that money a little bit better than I am like my personal account, because that's more, I use it more so to flip. So I'm willing to just be like, you know what? Let me just take it on Henko and do it that way. But if you only have a personal account and no prop firm, be selective. Leave stuff alone. But you're going to be more careful on your prop firm accounts, more than likely. I guess I can only speak for myself. For me, I'm more careful on my prop firm accounts. The amount of, yes, the leverage is small. You only get, 100 to 1 leverage, or maybe even 50 to 1 leverage, depending on, I guess, what account type you choose, or like 30 to 1 leverage if you use a swing account. It's still way more that you can risk overall for the average person. Before I got funded, I never made more than like 50 something a year. 53K a year was probably the most I ever made before I was funded. And I got a family, a wife, and 3 kids. So that feels like I'm making $5 an hour at the end of the day, is what it feels like when it's all said and done. So the money that I'm able to risk, so that puts me, I'm saying that's like me being like average person, whatever. Thankfully, my wife made way more than I did. But me being the average trader, having average money or whatever, my account size wasn't never, that big. So even once I started making a few hundred consistently, and then that turned into $1,000 here and there that I was making on my personal account. Even let's say I got $2,000 in my account. On that $2,000, and I'm a high risk trader, like I am a high risk trader. Even on that $2,000 account, let's say I put down like 1.5 standards, like 1.5 standards. So that's $15 per pip. Versus if I got a 200K account or a 100K account and I can put down 10 standards, I'm way more on that 10 standards. Even though I only got 100 to 1 leverage, that 10 standards is going to go way further than my 1.5 standards. So, heck yeah, prop firms are worth it. That's when my life changed, man. I went, like I said, from making 53 a year to like my first 6 weeks in FTMO. You saw what the FTMO, well, if you've seen the FTMO interview, then yeah, that was That was $110,000 that first 6 weeks. Same trading strategy, didn't change nothing. The only thing that changed was I had a prop firm account behind me now. So heck yeah, they are worth it. As long as you're trading profitably already. Are they necessary? No. Prop firms are steroids. You can absolutely use your personal account and run it up without the use of a prop firm. 100%. Prop firms are steroids. It'll get you there quicker. And with prop firms, your only risk is really your challenge fee. And once you get that challenge fee back, it's free. Everything's free money. If I blow my prop firm accounts now, doesn't matter. I buy them again with profits. It's free money at this point because I've gotten that challenge fee back. Versus on a personal account, if you lose the money, you lost your money. You feel me? So, all right, let's see what EJ's finna do on this news. Since news just hit, is it going to hit our 50 EMA on H1 and tank? But again, I'm staying out of it. I am not trading it because I'm not getting in on no, like, soon as news hits. If there was an index, which one would you trade a strategy with? NAS. And the only reason is literally because my accountability partner trades NAS, and I have to use his strategy because my strategies don't work good with NAS. And so, and actually I got another close friend who, one of my fraternity brothers, he trades NAS and he does real well with it. With my Forex funds, he's got my Forex funds account funded. And so yeah, I would go NAS if I just had to. No, this won't be an every week thing. This was more so a thank you situation for, those who got the account through my link. However, now that I'm doing it and I'm in the, like, it's cool. So I'll do it again, but it won't be a every week situation. Nah, I'll just kind of throw one out every here and there. Because I don't feel nervous anymore. I was extra nervous an hour ago, but I'm settled in now. So yeah, because an hour ago I'm like, I am not doing this again. Now I'm cool. No, I can't do the PAMM and the MAMs. Look, when it comes to trading other people, like if I'm nervous to do a live stream, shoot, ain't no way I'm finna be managing other folks' money, man. Heck no. I understand the appeal, to wanting that done. I actually, for me, because I can't speak for everybody else, I would never let somebody else trade my money. I just don't trust people like that. At the same time, I do understand that you don't want to give somebody an amount that you're not willing to lose. Once you give somebody that money, you get in your mind, it's gone. That's how it should be. I just can't, my brain, even though I know that, I know I'm going to be upset if that money gets lost, because the only reason that I gave you the money in the first place is because I trusted you. I've been watching you, and now you done lost my money, so that must mean you're fraudulent. And that might not be the case. It might be, like, in my mind, if somebody gave me money to trade, if I start losing, like, it's probably because I'm nervous, and it might affect my decision making because I'm so nervous. I might start missing. I might go 2 weeks without taking a trade or something because I'm so nervous. And then I'm going to say, dang, I done been 2 weeks. I got to take something. And then I take something stupid because I'm just trying to hurry up and take something. Like, that's just how I can see that going. So, nah, I don't want to be responsible for anybody else's money. Plus, a lot of people hit me up. You would be amazed at the amount of messages I get of, and I hope none of you guys have done it. And if so, like, I get it, but I don't sometimes. Like, some of the stories I've heard, like a lot of you learn about a lot of people's problems when you get to a certain point. I'll just put it that way. That's stressful. It's a lot to take on, because you have to, you don't want people to look at you as their saving grace. My way of trying to help is showing you everything that I do for free. I don't charge nothing. I don't hold back nothing. This is my help. And I don't want it to go beyond that. If the Lord decided to take me home today, you didn't learn everything I did because I didn't teach you everything. I was holding it all back and saying, I'll just do it for you. So now that I'm gone, what you gonna do? So I think it's a lot more beneficial for me to just teach everything. You know, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So I'm trying to teach everybody how to fish. Throw that rod out there and get them fish out there. Get that good sea bass, that good catfish. Yeah, EJ, and see, I want to sell EJ right now. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go in with like half. Actually, wait a minute. Let me back up. Hold on. Let me check my reassurance chart and see what's going on. Just for some additional. If I was going to get in, it's going to be right the freak now. Let's just go in with a small something just to say we did something. I'm just going to put like 20 lots. I said just 20 lots. I shouldn't have said that, but that's lower than what I normally trade. And let's just throw a stop loss up here. And if I take the L, whatever, we'll just take it. Yeah, like I'm probably going to take that L. So it is what it is. But at least you see in general why I said, hey, I can see why this is going to go up. If it's going to go up, I see why. But I can also see how it can go down. So I just throw something down there. I'm not confident in this. I just feel like, hey, I'm on live. Let's just go. Disciplinary error, and I just put this out there because I'm real with it. I would not have took this trade if I wasn't online. I shouldn't have took it. Or I should have taken it on. Let me hold on. Let me protect myself real quick on something. There. You know what? No, I'm gonna be smart. Let me just take this L real quick. I'm gonna take that off and just because I don't want to. If I'm not gonna do it off live, let me not show out. So I just lost like 1,700, I think it was. Nothing crazy. I'm cool. But so there you go. There's a good little mental disciplinary error live and you know, try. Don't do stuff for other people, man. Just be you. Do what you know you're supposed to do. I don't feel like that's a smart trade. Protect your capital. Was it a peak of 10 on gold today? I discussed that earlier on. It was not. I will be posting a replay of this video. So y'all, of course, get the live situation, but I'll post a replay. But no, gold was not a peak of 10. I was up looking at it, ready to trade it. But I did explain earlier on why I ended up staying out of gold. No, that's not a problem. Not a problem at all. But yeah, just check out. That's like the first thing I think I explained on the video. So once the replay hits, it should be within that first like 10 minutes. But yeah, I feel you, man. Kids make you late. I definitely understand. Any more questions? I think I just don't see anything. I do think EJ, like I said, that spinning top, and you see it still going up. I'm glad I went ahead and just jumped out and just protected. You know, there's no point in losing no more than you need to lose. Like I said, I shouldn't have took that. So it is what it is. But I think I'll answer a few more questions if anybody has some. Otherwise, I just don't think today is I don't think nothing's popping off that, you know, is within our, okay, so GJ, yeah. And see, that's the other thing I was saying. When GJ started going up, that was another clue that EJ was probably going to start going up because they tend to move together. I'm really wondering if EJ is going to if GJ is going to turn out to be a P10. I doubt it. It would have to come in. This isn't, I doubt it. It's just ugly. I could have hunch traded some of these. GU would have really been a hunch trade. And see it's starting to come back down again. But yeah, everything is freaking ugly today. I don't like it. I really don't. So yeah, let's just go through some more questions. If anybody got some, I'll just give room for a couple more questions and then we're gonna call it. What about the angel dust? Did you explain that? Angel dust on which one? What pair? Gold. Angel dust on gold. Oh, you know what? And my guy Legal Chunks can attest to this. When gold hit yesterday, I was explaining earlier in the call, I was like, man, I've missed every trade. Like the trade you just saw me take on EJ that I just took the L on, that was the first trade I've taken this week. Because I have missed everything. Every setup. Missed it. Gold, yes, that was angel dust. The reason that I stayed out, and that's when I had to screenshot and just, you know, put in my back pocket for later. It was angel dust. Like I saw it. When I see angel dust, this is what I more so like to see though. Delete this. So for gold, let's see, like it came up, down, see it made a little peak or whatever, and then like it kind of did like this and passed through the peak. That's pretty much what gold did. This right here, I normally like for this to match or go further down in this. So more so what I was looking for gold to do was something like that, to where this part came further down than this before it made that pass. At least match it or go down a little further below it. That's normally, so like on EU yesterday, prime example. I like this one because this was the angel, well, it never gave us the entry, but we had peak, center, and after the center, it came all the way down here and matched this. That's normally how I see angel dust play out. And so I was waiting on gold to give me a little bit more downward movement and close down here to match this, and it didn't. So even though I did recognize, hey, there was a pass candle, everything is technically correct. Ehlers fish is where it needs to be. I see it. 15-minute time frame. It came down. I looked at it. Had my hand on the trigger. Scared. Scared because of this right here. Could have took it. Could have made the money. But yeah, that was why I stayed out of it. But technically, yes, gold was the angel dust setup yesterday. Ah, crap. My bad. Call me Bob. Well, I guess I should just say Bob then. You telling me to call you Bob. But yeah, I'm sorry, man. I didn't think about emails potentially going to spam. I assumed that the initial email that I sent out Sunday night, I think it was, I just figured if everybody saw that, then hopefully it would be in their inbox, or maybe they would have caught it was in spam by then. But yeah, sorry that email went to spam on you like that. Which strategy plays out the most? That's going to be a... Okay, I'm going to say angel dust in general. But it seems like every month and a half or so, something else just takes over. Like it was... I can't remember how long ago it was. It was just like peak of tens everywhere, just peak of 10, peak of 10, peak of 10. Then it was killer crossover. And that's kind of how these strategies come about. I start seeing stuff so often, back to back to back. And then I'm able to be like, I recognize this pattern over and over again. And that's how I end up coming up with the strategies. But in general, though, if I just had to trade one strategy, it would be Angel Dust. I would say that's the one that's kind of overall the most consistent with showing up. Man, you know what? I be wanting to set pending sometimes. I'm scared to do it. I'm too much of a control freak to set pending orders. I just can't do it. But sometimes I feel like Monday, the trade, the last video I put out and showed on Monday, because we had Angel Dust on right here. There was this Angel Dust trade on EC on Monday. And this would have been a good pending order for me to have put, because remember, I don't know if you saw the video, but it hit it and just rose right back up. And normally it's gonna hover in my entry zone for a minimum of like 5-10 seconds minimum, and this was there for all of 1 second, if that long, before it came back above the 50 EMA. It's gonna be below the 50 EMA for at least 10 seconds, if not revisiting it on other candles. But where this long wick on H1 was, that was the M15 candle where, yeah, had I been a pending order guy and I had a pending order sitting down here, I might have gotten it grabbed. But it happened so fast, I didn't have time to say, all right, yeah, let me actually click on it. Plus, I was waiting on it to come. I thought it was going to come down just a little bit further as well, but it never gave me a chance, man. So pending order would have came through for me on that one, I think. But yeah, I'm just not a pending order type person, but they definitely are beneficial though. I don't deny that. Yeah, for sure, Pierre. Yeah, it was definitely Angel Dust. What do you usually risk per trade as far as percentage of account size? I don't really look at it that way. I'm not a percentage person. I'm just today wasn't a good example of saying, hey, I'm selective. But for the most part, I'm so selective that, and I'm confident in my ratio, my win ratio in general. Like, so most of my losses, okay, I just took a loss today. It's a prime example. Awesome. Most of my losses are what you just saw today. I was not confident in that trade. I took the trade anyway, trying to, just do something because I was on live. Granted, it was a very small loss because I put myself in check real quick and was like, get out the trade. You shouldn't have took that. That's how 95% of my losses happen. Stupid stuff. Mental errors. It is not based on granted, like I told you, yes, it looks kind of like a setup, but I also told you why it didn't look like the setup was going to play out. And if you have doubt, you shouldn't take the trade. That means your probability is not strong enough, so stay out the trade. My losses come from low probability situations that I know I need to just stay out of. I break and I get in anyway. But if I stick to the strategy and I'm talking about strong and I'm extra selective, then I'm so confident that my ratio, like out of 10 trades, I'm like, in my mind, I'm gonna win 9 of them things. So I don't really look at it as what percent am I willing to lose. I'm just like, is this a good trade? Yes or no? And I'm confident I won't blow my account taking good trades. So I'm more so just say, on average, my stop loss is going to be around 20 pips. Let's just say 15 to 20 pips on average. My average lot size, since I got my Forex funds pulled up, for example, my average lot size on my Forex funds is between 30 and 35 lots. So if I throw down 30 lots and I lose 20 pips, that's roughly $6,000 depending on the pair. So in my mind, I'm willing to lose $6,000 on this trade. I don't look at it as percentage. I just look at it as I'm willing to lose this 6,000 or I'm willing to lose this 20 pips. That's all I think about. Because again, my win ratio is good enough to where I don't have to worry about I'm about to just blow my account. Heck yeah, shout out to your cousin Pierre. That's what's up. But yeah, man. Any other questions? And if not, then I'm finna wrap this thing up and hope that y'all were mildly entertained. I know somebody said that they had gotten something out of it. I'm glad that this was beneficial. Hopefully, it was beneficial to some of y'all. To the others. How'd you get to a point where you stop strategy hopping and sticking to one thing? Man, that's the crazy thing. I don't stick to one thing. You see how many strategies I got? I got a million. How did you overcome the edge to chop and change to one thing? Still struggling with it. All right, so yeah, for like the first 5 years of my trading journey, from 2015 to 2020, I was in various trading groups. I had paid for 2 mentors that I was doing one-on-ones with. And out of all of those groups I was in, which had to have been maybe 10 groups that I had joined, and those 2 mentors, I only was able to, nothing was just resonating with me. That's all. I don't really know. I was in some of those groups feeling real stupid because other people were seemingly profitable. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, what? How? What? I don't get it. I just didn't get it. And so it really came down to me having to say, well, am I going to waste money on another group potentially, or spend money on another mentor and still not understand what the freak is going on? Or am I going to trust my gut? Because at the time I started around that 5-year mark, I halfway started to feel like I see some stuff. I don't trust myself because all I've been doing is losing. So why would I trust myself to say, I feel like I see patterns that I'm recognizing over and over, but again, I'm over here taking L. So no, I need a mentor. I need a group. But finally, man, it's like, dude, it's been 5 years. You have lost a lot of money. What else you already losing? Bet on yourself. Just bet on yourself and see what happens. So that's what I did. Left every group alone. Didn't, respectfully bowed out, to the mentors. I ain't got nothing bad to say about nobody. And there were things that I picked up on that I do still keep in mind from, things I learned from those groups. But I would say from all that group hopping, 20%, and I might be over doing it with that 15-20% of what I kind of look at and see, is still information from these groups. This template that I use is from the last group that I was in. I really like this template. I know a lot of people, well, the color scheme I got from Steve Morrow that Beat the Market Maker. I like this color scheme in the trading sessions and stuff, but I don't use Beat the Market Maker strategies per se. Like there's some things Steve Morrow talked about I keep in mind that I'm like, I can see what he was saying. And so I do, allow that to play into my psychology here and there. But for the most part, I just look at patterns, what certain patterns do around certain moving averages. That's really my style. Like if you take away moving averages, I'm done. Like I'm gonna have to go all the way back to square one. That's really how I start. I just noticed certain patterns around certain moving averages, and I felt like I kept seeing some of the same stuff over and over again. And so, granted, now I've got 6 strategies I think that I've put out there, maybe 7 on my page. So, I mean, I still have a lot of strategies. You can kind of still consider that strategy hopping to a degree, but they're all from right here. They're all like, I can say these are mine. I did not learn none of the patterns and stuff. The way that I look at the market, I haven't seen anybody else look at it that way. And it might just be that's the way my brain works. That's why I didn't understand what other people were trying to teach me, because like I'm smart in general. Like I made good grades in school, all that, had a full scholarship to college, all that stuff. But for whatever reason, I couldn't learn the same way other folks was learning when it came to Forex. Just couldn't do it. I just had to branch out on my own. And so, you know, what I teach, I don't expect everybody to gravitate towards it by any means. To me, I was just like, I haven't seen anybody look at the market the way that I'm looking at it. Let me put this stuff on YouTube in case somebody else is like me and maybe this will resonate with them, if nothing else will. So, you know. But yeah, I would just say if you don't understand something, stick with it for, I don't know, if you give it like 6 months or something and it still ain't hitting, maybe try, like if it's not, you're not getting it at all, it might be time to move on to a different strategy or a different, you know, somebody else to look at. Because you don't want to just be stuck in limbo. Granted, I do feel like pretty much every strategy works. You just have to, it has to work with the way that your brain works for you to get it. A personal account of $2,000, would I put down 3 lots? Yeah, for sure. I put down, somebody tried to call me out on a video some months back because I put down 2 lots on an $800 account. And so to respond to them, because they was basically trying to call me phony or saying I didn't know what I was doing if I would put down 2 lots on $800, which again, I admit like I'm an extremely high risk trader. But I was also doing that on my personal account after I had prop firms. And I use my personal account like a flip account. So, to respond to them saying I was stupid for putting down 2 lots on an $800 account, the next video I put down 3 lots on an $800 account. So yeah, with $2,000, now the higher my account gets, I'll be a little more careful. So on a $2,000 account, I think the highest I would put down would be like 5 lots. Because if I lose 20 pips on 5 lots on like EURUSD, then that's $1,000. I just lost half of my account. That's ridiculous. But if I was just ridiculously confident in the setup, I could see myself doing that on a flip account for sure. If we get peak center but no pass, I wouldn't say a reversal from the original position. I think I know what you're saying. Like I'm trying to envision what you're saying, but I guess the easy answer would just be like if I get peak center but no pass, it's just no trade. It's just one of those where you can't you can't catch them all. You have to be very selective with the patterns that you take. So I'm gonna wait until I have a pattern that does give me the peak center and the pass, basically, and just leave the other one alone. So yeah, if there's something that can be done, I just haven't realized it yet, basically. Like, and that's how a lot of this stuff does happen, because I feel like I know what you're talking about. And it may be one of those things that just clicks eventually, where I'm like, I see how I can do this now, and then I put out a strategy on it. Or if you're seeing that, I would encourage you to, again, just start trying to find other ones. Look through some other pairs, back test, find where it's happened, and see if you can start piecing together, common denominators and be like, all right, I see how I can make this my own strategy. That's how you do it. That's how some strategies come. You start seeing stuff over and over again, break them down, take your screenshots, put them all next to each other, and find them similarities. Pierre, my fisher looks the same on some of your pairs, but different on others, using the same zoom on all I can see. Yeah, Ehlers fish is some bull crap. It really is. I love it. It's a love-hate relationship. I can't use the RSI for my strategy. Like the Ehlers fisher, all my strategies were made on this chart. And so I'm kind of stuck with it. It's the best way I can tell you. But I know, because if I go to FTMO or my Forex funds or the funded trader, sometimes, the Ehlers fisher can be in a slightly different position, or it might be oversold or overbought on one pair, but then it's just under being, like this right here is above the 90. But if I go to another one, it could potentially be just below that 90 line where I'm like, come on, man, can I get some consistency across the board? Excuse me. So yeah, it's definitely a finicky indicator, but that's what I made my strategies with, so I'm kind of stuck with it, unfortunately. Heck nah, it ain't just y'all. I wish there was a way to lock the settings in place. Like I've tried messing with the settings to see if I could lock it in, and that way when I zoom in and out, it would still be the same. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that one. We stuck. No, I don't journal my trades. I never really journal them. Like I take screenshots sometimes of patterns. So like I have folders of screenshots of trades, but as far as saying, this week I took this and this, I don't write that stuff down. Usually Friday night or Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, something like that. I'll look back on the whole week and just see, how did I do this week? Did I miss anything? Did I, what trade? If I took any stupid trade like today, I don't really have to go back and look at EJ. Y'all saw what happened. I was stupid. And so I took an L. I know that's why I lost that trade. So it's not, normally it's, I lost this trade. It's normally I look back and see stuff that I missed. I'm like, crap, I missed that. I should have saw that. Again, my losses, 95% of the time, it's just, I knew I shouldn't have took the trade. It was just me gambling, so to speak. And one thing, Moss, based on what you said about, using my templates and everything, and but you're still taking a good amount of losses. Most of the time, and I try to explain this to, and you just triggered something in my brain, something I wanted to say. Most of the time when people say, hey man, I'm using your strategies, but I'm losing most of them. Like, do your strategies still work? One thing to keep in mind is, like I was saying, my first 5 years, I'm trying to learn off of these people. I'm using their strategies, but I'm taking a bunch of L's. They're not, but they're using their strategy, right? How are we both using the same strategy, but they're winning a lot and I'm losing a lot? Probably me not fully understanding their strategy the way that, they understand it. As we learn, it takes us a certain amount of time. Like we have to go through a growing period. Growth is uncomfortable. You're going to be taking L's in that growth. You're going to think you got it, And then you realize, crap, I thought I had it. I actually didn't. And so I think that's a common thing, because a lot of times when I get screenshots and people say, hey, I took this one because of this, most of the time, it ain't. I'm like, that wasn't it. That wasn't what you thought it was. We've had a couple of examples on this stream where some folks have pointed something out, with the exception of one where based on the FTMO chart, I saw what he was saying. But the others, I could definitely see, I could see why you took the trade. So those were actually good examples where it's like, at least I see what you was talking about. Sometimes folks be sending me stuff where I'm like, what? You thought that was a peak center pass? Like, huh? And so, but they're going to say angel dust don't work. Meanwhile, it wasn't no peak center pass in sight. I don't know what they was looking at. So most of the time, it may just be a matter of just needing more practice. But yeah, losses are going to come with the learning pattern, the learning process. And that's why, demo accounts are important. And it's no shame in trading demo. Don't let nobody shame you for trading demo. Let's see here. Okay, this is where I left off. That's what's up. Appreciate you, man. Let's see. So do I determine whether I'll take trades if it shows different on different charts? I need it to show roughly the same thing. And most of the time it does. Like most of the time my different charts do match up. The only time we run into, I guess, obstacles where it's like, crap, should I take this trade? Is when you have situations like one of the examples we discussed earlier where FTMO showed a prominent point, but then my Forex funds is like, nah, that's not a prominent point. Then I got a decision to make and be like, which one do I go with? Which chart? And it's safest to just leave it alone when that happens. And that might, you're going to miss some trades sometimes, but then sometimes it's going to work out in your favor. But but again, I do recommend using multiple charts, and part of that being super selective is when those charts do match up. Heck yeah, losses are lessons for sure. Hopefully not too expensive of lessons, but losses are lessons. Now, I never used the daily candles for angel dust. I've never gone above the H1 time frame for angel dust. So it's something I don't have the patience for it. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. To look at daily candles, man, I couldn't do it. It's like I don't have the patience for daily candles, but I don't have the blood pressure for like the 1 minute chart. That's gonna drive me crazy trying to follow something that fast. One of my boys, he looks at like 5 and 5 second chart and stuff, and I'm like, you are a trooper, my guy. I couldn't do it, but you know what I'm saying, that's what works for him. So I get it, but again, that just goes back to knowing yourself, knowing how your brain operates, and doing what's best for you. That's what's up. I'm glad that the Londonine helped you to understand PCP. Cool. All right, y'all. I think this is a good stopping point. I appreciate everybody who joined. I will post the replay for anybody who came in late. It may not be posted until a little later on, but I am going, what I'm saying? Wait, would I recommend the lower cost my Forex funds challenges? Do what's best for you. So with me, and this is not the smartest thing to do. Let me just start it with that. But when I went for my prop firm challenges, first of all, I waited until I was confident in my ability to pass it. Like I was already consistent on my personal account. But when I went for it, I was like, if I'm going to go for it, I'm going for the gusto. So I went straight for the gusto. I bypassed all the smaller challenges, went straight for it. And so for me, that's just how my mind was. But I'm like, if I'm doing it, I want the 200. Give me the 200K account. I felt like and again, this is what I'm thinking. I'm not saying nothing bad about you. I'm like, why would I spend the time to do a 50K challenge, because if I can pass the 50K challenge, then I can pass the 200K challenge. The problem is, well, what if I don't pass it? That's a lot more money I just lost, paying for that challenge. So what I did was, thankfully, I had paid down one of my credit cards at the time. Or I paid it down enough to where I could fit the cost of the 200K challenge on there. Big risk, not smart. Not a smart thing to do. But I was just at the mode of like, man, I'm betting on myself, and I just went for it because I was already consistent on my personal account, and I just was like, I can do this. So I put it on my credit card, and that's how I got my first 200K challenge. And then it was history from there. When I got my first payout, I paid all of my debt off, debt free. Got my second payout, paid all my wife's debts, all her debt off. Now we both debt free. After that, it was stacking season. Just started stacking stuff up. And that's how I did it though. But so as far as the lower cost challenges, my thing is, if you can pass a 10K challenge, a 25K challenge, 50K challenge, then you can pass any, you have to, the challenge is based off percentage. So if you can hit 8% or 10%, depending on who you're doing that challenge with, then that's 8 or 10%. Whether you start with $10 or $1 million, the percentage is the percentage when we're talking about challenges. So that's just how I look at it. So I just was like, I'm gonna go for the gusto if I'm gonna go for it. But yes, so do what's smart for your money though. So if you feel like 50K challenge is what you want to start with, or a 25K challenge, do what you do. I'm just telling you what my thought process was when it was my turn to do that. Yeah. Thankfully, everybody has free repeats right now. I would say as far as the challenges go, if you were to need additional time, because I do know I've seen this happen before with somebody who I'm close with in the trading world. My Forex funds is the GOAT when it comes to giving not necessarily the repeats, but the extensions. So if you get close and you're about to be out of time, they give you a whole nother 30 days versus like FTMO gives you 14 days. I'm not sure what the funded trader does in that regard, or how much of an extension they give you. But if you need additional time though, I would say my Forex funds is the best as far as the amount of time that they give you. Five months of free retake. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something though. 5 months of free retakes is dope, because that means you're still managing your money extremely well. Most people are gonna blow that and just lose the challenge flat out, on the first go around. So now if you got 5 months of free retakes, then that means that you've been able to, for 5 months, stay above overall loss. That is dope. You are ahead of 97% of people, you know what I'm saying? Cool. All right, y'all. I'm gonna say let's call it. Appreciate y'all for joining. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for helping me feel comfortable, because I'm not feeling nervous no more. And we'll do it again at some point. Don't know when, but we'll do it again. All right, man. Y'all be easy. Let me figure out how to end this thing. Let's see, because I do not know.